Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo and you're watching another live Q&A with you and me. And I do 5 of these videos every week. We now have over 60 exclusive videos for patrons. If you are an active patron at chrispirillo.com, that's my Patreon page redirect. I really do appreciate that support, by the way. So I do 4 of them that are exclusive for patrons. This one a week, is for everybody. So there's a lot of Pirillo to go around. I'm happy to cut you off a slice. It's like I'm pizza. You can put anything on me. Cheese. More cheese. I always like the extra cheese. So if you want a slice of Pirillo, eat it with cheese. I answer a different question every weekday, and it's really determined by you. And because I know you're filled with a lot of questions, you want the answers from me. I mean, you can go to the search engine of your choice, DuckDuckGo or Google or Bing or whatever. Even AltaVista. Not going to slag the AltaVista supporter or Lycos. You know, if there's any of you left. Dogpile. Anybody? So you can go ahead and search for information. You can find that crap everywhere. You come to me because you're interested in what I have to say, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. Today, I'm going to do my best. Oh, God, thank goodness you brought, like, a bladder buster of water here, because I may be doing a lot of talking around this one. I'm probably going to break a sweat. I'm almost afraid to answer this question, to tell you the truth.
Why?
Because I'm going to have to use the F word.
Oh, no.
Fanboy. That's... Just get it out of the way there. What is the difference between a fanboy and a follower? Well, you know, I almost want to make it more general, and I know that's how the question was asked, but I'm going to take a step sideways, if you don't mind. I think the big difference is between a fan and a follower. You don't have to be a fanboy or girl. Hate to say this, you know, I've seen the videos that she watches, and trust me, there are a lot of fangirls out there. If you use the wrong makeup, first of all, the moment you use the word wrong in a comment, that's usually like, might as well stamp a big F on your forehead. I mean, it's you know, because you're using the wrong eyeshadow.
Or you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it, wait, hey, what do you mean you're doing it, you're doing it wrong for who? And I think that's really one of the big differences, I think, between a fanboy, fangirl, I'm going to use those terms interchangeably because it has nothing to do with you having a penis or a vagina. If you are a fangirl, fanboy, and I think it's fair to say those are body parts. I mean, like, yeah. I can sit here and say tongue and I can't say penis. They're body parts. I mean, ooh, they're dirty. No, they're not. They're clean. I take a shower. What do I stick that part out when I'm taking a shower? Okay, I'm done talking about my body parts right now. So... I think really that's where it begins and ends. It's like when someone has nothing more than the voice in their head dictating what they say and how they present themselves online. I think that's squarely in the territory of fanboy, fangirl. I mean, because they can't see past themselves in order to give someone else a different perspective. So, for example, if I were to sit here and say, this is the best phone in the world. How am I determining best? It's not exactly empirical. If I sat here and said, this is the best phone for me, you couldn't argue. Couldn't argue. You couldn't. You have no place at all. Now, if I said, it's one of the reasons why it's very rare you'll hear me say, this is the best anything without qualifying or without explaining it further. But the moment someone says that, they're almost leaving out that part where they're saying for me, or for this, or for that. And that's where I think people get upset because they want to project their personal belief structure onto somebody else. Just because you think it's ethical doesn't necessarily mean that it is. Just because you think it's, you know, beautiful doesn't mean that it necessarily is. It's just your perspective. And fanboys and fangirls have a difficult time accepting other perspectives or accommodating other perspectives such that they cannot see the world through any other eyes other than their own. Blinders, right? No, this is best, and this is why. No, we're awesome. This is awesome. My choice is awesome. It's a religious war. That's what it is. My religion is awesome, and yours sucks. My God is better than your God. Did anybody bother? It's the same God. I don't know if they knew this, but it's the same God that they're fighting about. And they neither one of them has a way to prove it. They're fighting. They're killing each other because the same God. They're fighting each other because this is what it is. This is like me going to my parents and killing my brother. I would never do that. And killing my brother because we both believe that our mother loves one of us more than the other. And it's that I'm sorry, that's a line that you just should not cross. But that's really, I'm not saying it's the same thing when you fanboy online, but usually it's in that same universe, the logic or the lack of logic around something. And when you just, you present it as though it's the only view in the world and you can't not just accommodate another view, you have no reason, like, I mean, logic, no reason behind what you're presenting. And then, of course, it goes a level further, like, you know, like anytime you call an Apple user an eye sheep, you know, that to me is just like, okay, it's just rude. It's wrong. It's rude. It's a form of name calling, and what's the point? And I'm guilty of doing that. I mean, I've called people names in the past. I have. And as soon as I recognize I'm doing it, I stop myself because it's just not right. It's just, you know, necessarily. I mean, I've labeled people, certainly, but, you know, I've done my best not to cast names. So, you know, a fanboy or a fangirl just can't see it any other way. And that's sad. It genuinely is, because I think they lock themselves inside a certain modality that when the world changes around them, they're usually the last to figure it out. And then usually the pendulum swings the other way. They go from a huge fan over here to a huge fan over here, and they're so erratic. Like, whoa, 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 oh, God. And fanboys can be that way, right? They'll be, oh, I'm all about this water. This water's so awesome. I love this water. Oh, wait, that water's better. I love this water. This water's... Okay, just, you don't have to... It doesn't have to be the best in the world. It just has to be good for you, for your needs at that point in time. You can be a fan. I can be a fan of this water. And see, that's the difference, I think, between a fanboy, fangirl, and a fan. I can be a fan of this water. And, hang on, mind blown time. Get ready. Prepare. Brace yourself. Here we go. I can be a fan of this water and this water. What? I'm a fan of this water and this water. I can drink them the same. I can enjoy the water. Independent of what. This water quenches my thirst, and this water quenches my thirst. Oh my God, I love both of these waters. But you can't do that. You have to like one over the other. If you had to make a choice between one water and the other, what would you mean? Can you qualify that? Well, if you had to drink it. Okay, well, I guess if I wanted to drink it with more open space at the top, I would drink the water from this vesicle. Vesicle? This vessel? What's a vesicle? That sounds like a word, or it sounds like it should be a word. Can you DuckDuckGo that for me?
What does that mean?
Vesicle?
No,
I don't know.
Go.
Oh, we got to school Diana. We'll turn her into a fangirl there. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Special effects there.
Vesicle.
Vesicle? Is it a word?
Oh yeah.
Shut up! It's a word.
In cell biology, a vesicle is a small organelle within a cell.
It's a small organelle within a cell, and that's as much as I can rap not well.
You want to see what it looks like?
I rhymed.
A donut.
Oh, I like vesicles. I knew it was something like that. It sounded like it needed to be a word. Okay, so back to that. So I want a large vessel mouth hole, I would use this. If I wanted a small vessel mouth hole, I'd use this. And I can be a fan of both. This is what I think. Honestly, there's another separation. Fanboys or fangirls can't accept that as your truth. They cannot accept your truth. They can only accept their truth. There's only one Zool. It's like it's their way or the highway, and it's the only way. And let's steamroll over everybody else. That's a fanboy, fangirl. That's why I don't like being called one. I can like Darth Vader, which, by the way, I don't like Anakin Skywalker as much in the movie. I'm not a fan. Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker I like. The movies, not so much. I can be a Darth Vader fan, but... Shh. Oh, now he's going to breathe. I can be a Darth Vader fan, but then I can also be a Captain Janeway fan. I can be a fan of both. But you can't like Star Wars or Star Trek, according to Who's the Rules, because I like both. And I think I'm a fan of both. I can be a fan of both. I suppose I could even be a fanboy of both if I wanted to. I could total fanboy over either one. I don't. But, you know, they're just... the words that we use are usually used... You know, for a certain reason. I think, to me, when logic escapes anything that comes trickling out of that person's fingers or mouth or anything, any part of their body, clean or unclean, you know, is just so tainted with, like, do you have a brain? Like, where do you get that? What planet are you from? You're not operating on this plane of existence with me, because I cannot believe what I'm reading or seeing or hearing. And when you've locked yourself out of logic, I think that's usually the label fanboy kind of gets attributed to that. And that's why another reason why I I'm very careful about using the word fanboy because of the negative connotation that surrounds it, not necessarily a denotation, but the connotation around it I think is dangerous. So I can be a fan of water, and I can be a fan of wine and beer and coffee and other fun beverages, or I can be a fan of other water, not just water in this particular vessel, not vesicle. Are you Googling vesicle more?
No, I'm writing an essay.
You're writing an essay?
Mm-hmm.
About what? Can I find out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About us.
So it's going to be a short essay.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bad word? Isn't that something that, like,
Essay?
essay? I don't think I can say it, because I don't know. I'm very careful about cultures. Like, I don't mean to be culturally insensitive. I'm just insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
To everybody. So just, if I have not upset you today, give me a minute. I'll get to it. So that to me is a fangirl, fanboy, follower. So a follower to me is very passive. And I think a fan is probably a bit more active or passionate. A follower is more passive. You know, a follower I'd never hear from. Like, every once in a while I'll get an email like, hey, Chris, I've been watching you for 7 years, never said anything. That's a follower. Great. It's great to have followers. You just don't know who they are. Fans will usually be the ones who tweeting you, doing fan art, doing all sorts of awesome things. Those are the fans. The followers are more passive. And you need, I think it's good to both. It doesn't mean one's better than the other inherently. But I've found, and I kind of mentioned this in the TLDR live broadcast today, apart from this live stream, that fans are forever and followers are fickle. And, you know, I've been a fan of certain things and have always wanted to continue to be a fan. For example, I'll make it a bit geeky for y'all. So I've always been a fan of Lego bricks. Didn't really collect for a long time, but I was like, you know, they're fun. I like them. It's part of my childhood. Always been a fan of that. Always been a fan of Star Wars. At one point, I was a bigger fan of Microsoft Windows. I loved everything that it enabled me to do. I loved just about anything. Well, not everything, but I was a fan. You know, I saw it. You know, I wasn't just a fair weather fan. I was a fan. And then it just seemed that the operating system was changing around me such that I wanted to continue to be a fan, but I felt like it wasn't allowing me to be a fan. And so that's one of the reasons why, you know, some people say, why are you so hard on Microsoft? Because I think they need to be better. I think they deserve to be better. I think we deserve a better Microsoft. You know, are the changes they're making better? I think they are. That remains to be seen. I hope they continue to improve. I think they've made a few catastrophic mistakes over the past few years and have obviously survived, at least to this point. So, you know, I only say the things that I say because usually it's because I care. Very rarely, if someone, this is why you know, if you go to a review website, it's either 5-star review or 1-star review. Very rarely do you have something in the middle, because either you're really, really excited and you love it, or you're really, really excited and you hate it. And it's like one or the other. It's when you're in the middle, that's where you don't want to be. So I want people to either, hopefully no one hates me. I've never intentionally done anything to cause someone to hate me. Some people have decided that. I don't know why. I'd rather have you just appreciate the things that I do. Okay, fine. Give me a 1-star. Give me a 5-star. You know, you're probably going to be on either side. When you're in the middle, that's dangerous. That's ambivalence. You want someone to feel something, right? About a product, a service, you know, an endeavor, something. You want them to feel, whether they're a fan or not. You want them to feel something that, you know, create an emotional, elicit an emotional response. So, you know, I think for me, the follower is fickle in the sense that they could watch, they could follow, never interact, but they can do that with other people as well. They don't attach to one thing or another. They just follow. You know, they're a follower, and they're not as interactive, and they could disappear at a moment's notice. Fans disappearing doesn't happen as much. Some fans get disenfranchised. Some fans may project themselves onto something. So, you know, if my entire existence was predicated on these, you know, availability of Microsoft Windows, and Windows did what it did, I'd be in trouble because my personal identity was tied into that. I mean, so I'm a fan of what Windows has been and what it can be as the world has changed around them. I'm just waiting for Windows to kind of catch up. So this is the reason why, I mean, you'd very rarely hear me slag a company outright for doing the things they do, even if I don't agree with it. And here's the thing, I can also be a fan and disagree, but still be a fan. I mean, you know, it's like, if I wasn't a fan of Microsoft, I wouldn't have purchased an Office 365 subscription. If I wasn't a fan of Microsoft, I wouldn't have ever bothered to bring an Xbox 360 into the house. You know, honestly, I mean, I don't just follow. I don't just use the tools. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. They're enabling experiences that otherwise I wouldn't have. And I think they're doing a decent job in spots. So fans, fanboys, fangirls, and followers. It's this mix. And I think you can be a little bit of everything. But ultimately, the thing that you have to be is yourself. And I think some people find themselves dedicated into so many other things that they forget who they are. You know, I love having Darth Vader in my workshop. I love Star Wars. I love Lego stuff. I love certain things. I love things. I adore things. I'm passionate about things. But my entire value prop of living, my entire my character is not wrapped up in these things, these stories. My character is me. I just happen to enjoy things. So I can be a fan. I can be a follower. Some of the things that I get excited about, I might be a fanboy for. But I've never been a fanboy to the point where I put blinders on that I can't accept somebody else's perspective. Unless, and this is a big unless they're crossing an ethical line that I find to be ethically questionable, or they're just espousing hate. And that's where I kind of lose respect for somebody. So, anyway, I guess that's how I would kind of explain that world of fans, fanboy, fangirls, and followers. You know, followers are fickle, fans are forever. Usually. There are very few things that I've fallen out of fandom for. Very few things at all. Like, you know, you love something enough that you're usually with it for the long haul. You can't be a fan for a week. Doesn't work that way. And it doesn't mean the fan knows everything either. I don't know. And when you say a fanboy knows everything, I don't think anybody knows everything. No, nobody knows everything. You know, I'm a fan of Weird Al Yankovic. I'm sure I screwed up some facts. I'm a fan of Star Wars. I don't know everything about it. You know, I not perfect, but I would consider myself a fan, more of a fan than a follower usually. You know, I follow certain things and don't necessarily interact when I don't feel the need to interact. And I choose to be a fan over certain things because there's only so many things you can be a fan of in your life. You can't love everything. You just can't. It's impossible. Oh, I love water. Oh, I love iPad. Oh, I love sticky note with Darth Vader on it. I mean, you really love everything you see? That's scary to me. You be limited. There's only certain things. You've only got so much passion in your life. Spend it wisely, but be yourself. So, thank you for asking the question. I thought it was a good question. Hopefully I gave you my perspective, whether or not you appreciated or listened to everything or attacked me at some point in the comments. It's completely up to you. You can choose how to conduct yourself however you see fit. I've said what I needed to say. And now you are welcome to say what you need to say. It's an open world for you to share your thoughts with other people around the world. At this point, though, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. That's my belief. What's yours?